So fortunately, they don't do it anymore, but in the days of the circus, when they would train the elephants, they would take the elephants when they were a baby, put a stake in the ground, attach a small rope, and attach it to the elephant. And from that, every time the elephant would go to move and feel the tug, it would stop. So it started that way when it was young. It got used to that stopping point. And then as it got larger, anywhere from 5,000 to 14,000 pounds, okay? Here's this elephant with a stake in the ground with the same size rope that it could have just pulled it away, but it would feel that first tug and it would stop. Automatically stop every time. And then you have the other elephants who were traveling innately, working with the laws of nature. And you may have heard of Lawrence Anthony, who was a life advocate for the elephants. He's a reason that changes have occurred, and we're still working on those changes, I might add. Yes, indeed, we're still working on those changes. But these elephants really honored him for what they brought to their lives, and that he could see them. And so when he died, there were lines and lines and lines of elephants that traveled extremely long distances to be outside Lawrence Anthony's home and to say thank you as he had made his transition. So with an elephant being in the room, metaphorically speaking, which elephant are you? Honoring innately the natural laws, the connection, the deeper communication that we have, that's so much more than the five senses that's available to us? Or are you trained that when there's a rope that tells you to stop, well, that's as far as you've ever gone before. You've never let anybody in that far before, you know. This is my stopping point. Okay, we can date, but we can't stay for a month. No, we can't do that. What is the stopping point with you that is this rope of understanding, this self-imposed mortal limitation that someone trained you somewhere to have, you see? Are you with me? Yes. I like to check in. I don't need self-acceptance. I just want to know it works for you, you know, because I can go to something else. But this is the part that we want to be aware of because we want to keep our hearts open. We want to retrieve what has been lost. There is a great statement. I heard it in the early 90s. It's by Gary Busey. He had a near-death experience, and he said that the secret of life is not whether we will live or die. It's the parts of ourselves that we allow to die while we're living. The secret of life, thank you, I like feedback, thank you, is not whether we will live or die. It's the parts of ourselves that we allow to die while we're living, and how to open that up. Often with that understanding, you start to open up, and then events in your life will open you up more. Some will be kind, some will be unkind. But when you say to life, swing open those doors, and you mean it with every cell and fiber of your being, there are people in great disguises and events in disguise that are going to allow you the energy to have that great awakening. We, as a culture, have needed our education system to change forever. I couldn't be more proud of the Parkland teenagers for what they're doing, because they are retrieving our nation, they are retrieving our culture, they are taking a stand for the souls of this planet, that we belong to God. We belong to God in that energetic presence. And I just love that energy, because that's how we do it. That's how we do it. And we will continue to do it. Each and every time we will do it. And it's how we do it individually. We keep marching. We keep putting up new signs. Oh, yes, I got hurt. Okay, I'm ready again. Oh, yes, I have a few scars. Oh, yeah, wake me up more. I'm ready. Hit me with your best shot. Let's go. Bring it on. We electrify that and unify that awareness, staying awake, staying alive. I came in the wee hours of this morning from a resort called Rhythmia, designed solely to open up people's hearts again, designed solely for people to have an Easter moment. It's in Costa Rica, outside of Liberia, about an hour and a half. And this man was an immense addict, and he had this huge epiphany, and he had this awakening, and he came to understand how to be back into the connected grace of spirit again. And so he's dedicated his life and all his finances to see that people can come from all over the world to have this awakening. I feel fortunate that we have this here, you see. I'm not trying to compare, but I'm simply saying anytime you put a group of people together and you have an attention that is natural and innate, and you're willing to let go of these ropes and give them up, and you're ready to give them up, then you can do that, because that's the power that God has given us, yes? And so in that space, there were 44 students. I was there to teach shamanism and spirituality, one and the same, just in a different story. And they were there from Johannesburg, South Africa. They were there from Australia. They were there from London. They were there from the States, all over the world. And they said, here I am, and I will have an awakening this week. Many of them choose to join us online, not this week because they're still there, but I'm sure we'll see some of them in the future. But that part of that energy, you know, spiritual work, that commitment to go deeper, to really know beyond surface level. You know, surface level is, I'm going to be here, I got to get a job, I'm going to get a house or an apartment, I'm going to have a couple kids or not, and fall in love, and then I'm going to fall again. I don't know why we call it falling, but we keep falling, and we fall in love, and then we, you know, and then we get another apartment, or we get a swimming pool, or whatever we do. That's that surface level life. I'm talking about the deep part of life. I'm talking about where the depth of really authentic miracles can occur, where there's a space that you hold that you know that as that butterfly wing from Australia can be felt with us, that everything that you are is felt over there as well. The question is, what is the elephant in the room, and what are you allowing people to feel from you? Can you connect with that identification, right? Because if you keep dealing with and facing with your cause and effect surface level realities, it's because you're being invited to go deeper. You're invited to go deeper. And so in that space, there was this wonderful man there named James. I would find out later he lived in Greenville, South Carolina, city I lived in, and he lived here in St. Petersburg, Florida. But I'm early one day for the class, no one's there but the two of us, and he says, I don't want to do this anymore. I said, you don't want to do the class anymore? I haven't started, you can leave. No, I don't want to do life anymore. I'm done with life. I'm done with life. I'm done. It's really over for me. And I said, son, you can't be done with life. You're not in charge of life. I'm talking about life with a capital L. You cannot be done with life. It's not your life to be done with. Right? You are done with your limited, small, pathetic limitation of what you think life is. You with me? You with me? Now, I know, we can be very compassionate and loving and everything, but when that moment is there, it's a defining moment. And you act upon that moment accordingly. And what I got that he needed was a bodacious kind of answer. Right? And I said, you are done with your misunderstanding because you actually believe that you can get to spirit by avoiding ever having a connection with yourself, and it is not possible. And what you say about that person, when you look in the mirror, I know, I can hear you. I said, I hear your voices. You're so critical. You're so negative. That's how you talk about yourself all day long. And then you're looking for sprinkle angel dust to greet you during the day. Give me a break, right? The way to be in the spirit of God is to understand that you are that. You are that, and you are that essence, and you are that energy. And when you look in that mirror, you don't have to travel across the world to sit at an altar to have some deep understanding. You can look at the mirror and the altar of what you see, and you can go, God created well. God created well. Wow. So 2 days later, he come running across the field. He said, thank you, I got it. I understand the formula. I had the formula confused in illusion and control. Years ago, I lived life kind of like you learn when you're a teenager and you fall in love in the summer. He loves me not. He loves me not. That wasn't working, so I went to she loves me not. She loves me not. Anyway, I love this church. I love this church. But so many things were external. You know, it's going well, God loves me. It's going well, God loves me not. It's going well, God loves me. It's going well, God loves me not. That kind of thing. And so I went on a spirit journey in shamanism, and in the underworld, it's likened to these people there at Rhythmia. They were doing ayahuasca. They were doing plant medicine with shamans, and they were seeing all these. They were having hallucinations and stuff like that. I elected not to participate in that because I'm thinking, oh, that's daily life for me. I don't need to go there. But anyhow, but in that space, on that particular time, these sages, these guides took me up on a mountain all in the imagination. And there they were, and they were heating in the cold. There was a fire going, and I looked and I did a double take, and they came at me. It kind of reminded me as a little girl growing up on the farm when people would brand their cattle. And so they took this and they put it right on the palm of my hand, and I could feel it. I could energetically feel it, even though I knew I was in another space. But I looked, and it was a heart on each of my palms, branded forever. So I would not forget. So I would remember that no matter what condition, no matter what external, I am the voice of love because I am made in the image and likeness of love, and therefore love is never a question. That's the same for all of us, yes? So events come and go, people come and go, ropes come and go, experiences come and go, but the one constant that we have are our big L's, our life L, the bigger life part, and the love vibe is always there, and it never ends and it never changes. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, what is wonderful and what is in wonder is the fact that a man will say goodbye to many of his friends that die without it hitting him and occurring to him, I'm paraphrasing, that it's actually going to happen to him too. Right? It's actually going to happen to him too. There was another great orator, Mullah Rasaning, I think is his name. I'm drawing a blank, but the point is, he says, I'll be surprised if I get out of here alive. So on my quest this week, I knew for me the archetype of teacher needed a lot of silence, a lot of quiet. There's immense power in doing nothingness. It's oxymoronish. I'm doing nothingness. What have you been doing? Doing nothingness. Say that with me. Doing nothingness. So it works in that energy field. But one of the things is I was looking at Easter and looking at what does it mean metaphysically and looking at it and what it means energy-wise. What occurred to me is how we hold the essence of who we are and how we have been created. And I thought about, often at many places, every third or fourth week, they talk about forgiveness and the need for forgiveness, And often, I don't know about you, but forgiveness, we do it kind of at a surface level. But I had this huge aha moment that what we really want to do to live life vibrantly and energetically from a greater experience than what we're having currently right now is that we want to forgive our Creator for making us to die. We want to forgive God for creating us as a people that we are indebted to die. Everybody breathe? Yes. It's going to take some journaling. Some of you may want to leave. That's okay. Go. But you think about that. You think about being in love with something that loved you so much, and then you go, why did you forsake me? Why do I have to die? And if you think about it, and you really think about it on a deeper level, and you're willing to do the forgiveness work, right? Then you look at it from another capacity that says, wow, well then I've been on a conscious and unconscious way, I've been angry at my Creator. And if that is cause and effect, then often external things that happen in our lives, we are able to then project that anger time and time and time again at that which has created us. Yes? And so perhaps the reason that we are indebted this death is because in this form we forget who we are. You probably heard the story of the little boy that's 4 years old, that his parents overhear him talking in the nursery room with his little sister who's a baby, and he says to her, "Sis, please tell me who God is, because I'm starting to forget." You with me? So perhaps if we had another type of awakening and awareness, maybe we would, and we could continue in the form that we're in with the understanding that we are always formless spirit without ropes. Who knows how long we could be here? But that's a different talk for a different Sunday. We also want to forgive the people in our lives that we have loved that have died. Forgive them for dying. Forgive them for carrying that which we don't want to look at. Powerful, right? Powerful. A lot of times they say, and their children didn't even come see them. It's like, it's not about them. They're avoiding that it's reality. There's that. And we also want to forgive ourselves for the parts of ourselves while we're living that we have allowed to die. There you have it. Where will that lead? I don't know. But it's a space. It's swinging wide open doors of understanding of what is it that continues to promote separation within us when we know the greater truth of our reality is that we are the same essence that everything is made of. So how could we ever be separate? Right? You think about that. And so when we continue to grow in our own clarity, our own window frames of life and what that is, and there's no fear, but that which we are made to do and be, where can we go in life itself? Howard Thurman would say, don't think about what the world needs. Think about what you do that makes you alive. What is it that you long to do or that you could do without a rope of understanding or limitation that would keep you alive? What is that? And then be that. Because like all the marches that are going on, what our earth needs is people who are retrieving and letting go of forms and boxes and limitations and systems and moving into a place knowing. That's why literally all of us have agreed to be here at this time right now. Don't run, get further in. Don't run, get further in. Take a stand. Take a stand. Take a stand. Energize yourself. Energize your life. Energize the goodness that's been gifted to you. Energize who you are. And so it is. Thank you so much.